Kingdom Come is one of DC's most iconic storylines, known for its amazing artwork and reimaginings of DC's world. The variant of Superman featured has become widely recognized as one of DC's most interesting takes on the Man of Steel, as well as one more powerful than the mainline Superman of the post-crisis timeline. This video will focus on that second part, how powerful he actually is. For this, I'll be looking into his feats as well as feats of other characters against him or against characters comparable to him to determine if he really is more powerful than post-crisis characters like Superman, Supergirl, Powergirl, Superboy, or any character in that range. Starting off, let's look at the respective Superman's performances against Gog, who is the Superman of the Kingdom Come continuity's most well-known enemy. There are multiple different variants of Gog. Mainly the one who appears in the storyline Kingdom, the William Matthews version who appears throughout post-crisis events, and the old God Gog who appears in the Justice Society issues. The original depiction has little relevance here, as he's never fought a post-crisis DC character, though the other two have. The William Matthews Gog had God Gog's staff and power, so their scaling is the exact same. Magog, of course, in a similar vein, is very well known. But once again, his Kingdom Come appearance isn't very relevant here, and it's mainly his post-crisis version, where he is explicitly only a fraction of the power of the God Gog's power, is actually relevant. With this laid out, let's take a look at these two Supermen and how they did against the William Matthews Gog. In Action Comics 815 through 816, the post-crisis Superman pretty much dominated Gog, continuously attacking him and sending him flying, hardly even taking the fight seriously. It's only when Gog stabs Superman with his kryptonite-endowed spear that he gains the advantage, though Clark is still capable of hurting him with heat vision and punches. Superboy, someone inferior to Superman, is also capable of hurting and surviving attacks from Gog, from issues 814 to 816. What makes this more impressive is that Superman's previous adventures in this arc, such as facing Darkseid and his minions, diminished his strength when going into the fight with Gog. In comparison, when Gog fought the Justice Society alongside Kingdom Come Superman in Justice Society of America number 14, Gog overpowered Clark despite how much help he had, eventually getting him into a chokehold, with Supes falling unconscious. In issue 15, Casey Supes eventually gets back up, though he repeatedly gets overpowered with help even still. This paints a pretty clear picture. A weakened post-crisis Clark does significantly better than Kingdom Come Kal, even when he had assistance. To add consistency to this, in Action Comics number 825, a Superman once again weakened by kryptonite to the point where he's barely standing, and is even described as being on his weakest day, fights off and defeats multiple Gogs. Eventually, he begins to get overpowered, though Doomsday arrived, and together they defeat multiple more Gogs. It's worthy of mention, though, that Doomsday's presence is also mentally and physically weakening Superman, due to their past history. At the end of the story, Superman overpowers Gog once more as his army disappears. Speaking of said army, it's commonly argued that the Gogs in his army don't have the same power as the main Gog, though this makes no sense, since it's literally the same Gog at different points in time, some even being just 30 minutes away from the present. As mentioned before, the Matthews Gog is far more powerful than the Earth 22 Superman, and there is consistency to this as well, since the God Gog, who has the same power as Matthews, needed the entire JSA plus Superman to defeat him in issue 22 of Justice Society of America, and could cause noticeable damage to Superman with just one blast. On top of this, in the comic Blackest Night JSA number 3, the Black Lantern version of the Golden Age Superman literally one-shots Magog while running through the rest of the JSA, including the likes of Powergirl. In issues 1 and 2 of Blackest Night Superman, Superman traded blows with this Black Lantern Kal-El, even surviving his heat vision and matching it. In Justice Society of America number 19, it's stated that Magog has power approaching Superman's. This means that while Magog is at least comparable to Kingdom Come Superman, he's completely below the Superman of the post-crisis timeline via this scaling. Now, speaking of Magog, in JSA All-Stars number 3, he and Powergirl have an intense spar, getting more serious as it goes on. Eventually, Magog asks for Powergirl to hit him with her best shot. The result? Powergirl completely wrecks him, despite not being as efficient as she could have been. This is actually pretty consistent with Justice Society of America number 20, where an alternate Powergirl was capable of staggering Casey Clark multiple times, with him not even showing up for the rest of the issue, meaning he was possibly taken out for the duration of the rest of the comic. The main universe Powergirl shows the ability to get back up way sooner, and even overpowers her alternate universe counterpart. This same Powergirl struggled to stop Superman, despite having help from multiple other heroes and being amped by the Black Rock in Superman Batman number 33. As well as this, in Justice Society of America number 25, a Black Adam at a fourth of his power survives heat vision from Kara and even takes her out with a clap. Moving on, in Blackest Night number 2 and 3, Superman tanked Superboy's heat vision and held him in a chokehold. This Superboy is near the end of his post-crisis career, after gaining much more experience and absorbing more sunlight over time. During Convergence, Superboy issue 2, a much younger Superboy, fresh out of Cadmus, fights the Kingdom Come Superman, with the context of the fight being that both their cities are at stake, so there's no reason either would be holding back. Superboy survives many attacks from Casey Supes, damages him, and continuously trades blows, with Superboy considering himself as tough as Casey Clark. The fight only ends when Kingdom Come Supes convinces Connor to let his guard down and render him unconscious. Later, in Convergence number 7, the two Supermen directly fight, and we see the post-crisis Clark punching out his Kingdom Come variant. Casey Cal isn't seen again for multiple pages, while post-crisis Supes is seen fighting other characters throughout. And just to prove they should be going all out, as we know from the prior issue's context, they are fighting for the fate of their universes, similar to the previously mentioned scaling. On top of this, in Superman Lois and Clark issues 1 and 4, we gain the information that post-crisis Cal was at first weakened in the New 52 universe. So once again, this would be scaling for a weakened post-crisis Clark, scaling above the Kingdom Come variant. Now, I'll add a few interesting narrative points. These arguments may be a bit weaker, though are still definitely worth mentioning. Starting off, in Action Comics number 1000, Vandal Savage turns the mainline Superman into Kingdom Come Superman as an attempt to weaken him. While you could argue he's trying to defeat him by putting him through the events of Kingdom Come, the previous attempts from Vandal are explicitly him trying to weaken Superman's physicality by making him a 30s version of himself without most of his current abilities and power, as well as trying to siphon Superman's powers. So the interpretation that Vandal views Casey Superman as weaker than the mainline version holds a good bit of ground. As well as this, in 52 issue 2, it's stated that the Earth 1 and Earth 2 Superman did the greatest job at pushing their worlds forward. While this may seem irrelevant to any power scaling discussion, do keep in mind that hope is one of Superman's power sources, as is stated in Superman Batman number 52, implied throughout Justice League 2018's descriptions of the multiversal forces, and directly shown to create psychic energy for the New 52 Superman in Trinity of Sin, the Phantom Stranger issue 18. On top of this, it's stated in Sideways Annual number 1 and Action Comics number 1035 that Superman's love for Lois is the most powerful force there is, and Kingdom Come Superman likely cannot tap into this anywhere near as much as post-crisis Superman can, considering his Lois is, well, dead. Of course, it wouldn't be fair to just go over the scales against Kingdom Come Superman, so let's look into some of the evidence people use to argue for him and go into the flaws I have with said arguments. The first argument you might see a lot is people that claim that the Kingdom Come Superman is actually the future version of the mainline Superman, and that this future Superman, who has appeared in comics like Superman Batman 2 and 5, as well as 15 through 18, fought the mainline Superman and even said that he was stronger and more experienced. To say that this would mean that the Kingdom Come Superman is stronger than the post-crisis one. The issue here is that this older version of Superman goes back home to see Lois, someone dead in the Kingdom Come timeline. On top of this, the post-crisis stories take place in Earth 1, while the Kingdom Come stories are in Earth 22. So it is not the actual future of the post-crisis timeline, but rather its own universe entirely. So, if this future Superman is just a future version of the Earth 1 Superman, this also proves he is definitively not the Kingdom Come Superman. However, some will still argue that because Kingdom Come Superman is an older Kryptonian, he's also therefore stronger, as he's absorbed more sunlight over time. But this is very flawed. As mentioned before, post-crisis Superman has more of a connection to the hope aspect of his powers than Kingdom Come, and also has completely different experiences, like learning the Theta State, training with Mongol, permanently absorbing power from the Eradicator, and even fighting for 1,000 years in Asgard with there being a son, giving him the age and experience advantage, despite how unlikely it may seem considering their physical appearance. The next scaling people try to use is from the comic Kingdom. However, the younger Superman in Kingdom is just very clearly not the post-crisis variant, but rather a younger Kingdom Come Superman. How do we know this? For starters, we're explicitly told in Kingdom number 1 that Gog is simply traveling through time to kill the Earth 22 Superman, not that he's traveling to different Earths. On top of this, the younger Superman's future includes the destruction of Kansas and the death of Lois Lane, things that do not happen to the mainline Cal. However, there is one statement from Superboy number 60 stating that it is the post-crisis heroes meeting future versions of themselves in Kingdom. If taken at face value, this makes no sense considering again these are different Earths with different histories and different futures. Though it can make sense when considering what we're told in Kingdom number 2. Basically, memories of Hypertime randomly appear, linking back to other timelines, particularly the Central Timeline. So even though the post-crisis characters have memories of Kingdom, considering how much of Kingdom had to do with interacting with Hypertime, it's likely these memories just happen to make make their way over, and they weren't actually there, which makes sense with the story and other information we know. The most common arguments for Kingdom Come Superman are 1, that he one-shot the post-crisis version, and 2, that he one-shot Hercules, who slammed post-crisis Superman. The first one, from JSA Kingdom Come Special Superman number 1, is incredibly easy to debunk, as while the Kingdom Come Superman is savagely swinging, the post-crisis Superman is completely off guard. He's also literally fine the page right after, and would also be weakened by being near kryptonite, something that only affects Kingdom Come's vision rather than strength. The Hercules scaling from Justice Society of America number 13 is also flawed. First off, at best, this feat is an outlier for Hercules, someone weaker than Wonder Woman. In fact, in The Flash number 219 and Wonder Woman number 214, it's even stated that an infant Diana surpasses Hercules in strength, while an adult one has been shown to be below Superman in JLA 70-page Giant 2011, alongside many other examples. However, this wouldn't even have to be an outlier if you think Superman was off guard, since an off-guard Superman can be hurt by attacks that an on-guard Superman can tank, as shown in Superman number 109. Another argument that doesn't really affect Kingdom Come Superman vs. Post-Crisis Superman, but rather his scaling compared to Superboy or Powergirl, is the claim that he soloed the Justice Society. The feat mentioned is from Justice Society of America number 10, and I have a few problems with it. First off is that most of the characters here aren't actually that powerful or relevant, like Wildcat, Jay Garrick, and Hawkman aren't really that impressive wins. The real heavy hitters are Alan Scott and Powergirl, but it's hard for him to conclusively scale above them. Until the next issue, Powergirl still thought he might have been the Golden Age Superman, her cousin who she had recently met and was around for the death of. Considering her multiple scales for being above KC, and the fact they're trying to sort things out here, it makes sense she'd be holding back. Alan Scott doesn't even really fight the KC Superman, and we don't know if his construct was broken, or if he was counting on the rest of the JSA to pin him down, and simply would have released his construct. On top of this, he's a major player against both Gogs, capable of restraining them, staggering them, clashing with them, etc. He's also confident he can defeat Gog after he beats Kingdom Come Superman. So it's really hard to use an inconclusive fight where Alan Scott doesn't get hit, as well as one where there's nothing saying he's going all out, to show much for KC Superman. In conclusion, despite all of his hype, the Kingdom Come Superman really lacks any great feats, and many feats attributed to him aren't actually him or have context that makes them much less impressive. On the contrary, there's various scales that get the likes of Superman, Powergirl, and Superboy above him. If you disagree, I'll leave a Discord server where we can discuss below. Thank you to Highfather for helping out with research once more. There will be a link to his Instagram again, and thank you all for watching and recent support. I'll be trying to upload more consistently again and add more variety than the recent DC streak on my channel. See you next time, E2B out. With Justice Society of America, Justice Society America, and Action Comics number 10,035, it's even stated that an infant Diana,